Boom! From a distance, the tense sound of breaking wind suddenly erupted as a demon figure, cloaked in the radiant demon flame, shattered layers of void and rushed madly toward the boundless fire domain. The demonic radiance emanating from the figure left Seraphim Seer momentarily dazed. The 8 purple angelic wings flared to life, as if responding to a powerful pressure. This enmity is irreconcilable. Rip? Gazing at the distant scene, Seraphim Seer hesitated for a moment before spitting out a fierce remark, then vanished entirely along with the 4th evil god enclosed within the heavenly cage. Demon Tuwa had been completely thrust into the abyss of Tianqing continent by the Demon Emperor, seemingly protecting something. Even though we have found leverage against the Xiao clan and the Angel Kingdom, trouble has found us. We should leave here as quickly as possible. With this power, Lu Yun will definitely reach new heights in strength. However, little one, your time is running out. Once the Angel Kingdom and the center of the human realm are free to act, the remainder of the matters may fall solely on you. Moreover, from Seer's tone just now, it seems that the mighty who sought to eradicate the Xiao clan after the Heavenly Earth War are scattered throughout the Great Thousand Worlds. As the voice fell, tranquility returned to the area. Rumble. The dense demonic radiance surged forth like towering mountains from the void passage, unreservedly hammering at the spot where Seraphim Seer had disappeared. A punch enveloped in demonic radiance slowly transcended the constraints of time and space, striking Seraphim Seer, who had already fled a great distance. Thud! A spray of bright red blood erupted, and shock filled Seraphim Seer's previously calm eyes. The power of the Netherworld? In that fleeting moment of disappearance, she seemed to sense a strange power emanating from the attack. It was demonic power, culminating from multiple clashes between the Angel Kingdom and the Netherworld. Demonic power? Equating to Netherworld power? Boom! Domain Lord Xiao. Instantly, cheers erupted from the other powerful beings within the boundless fire domain. Tears filled their eyes, and countless hearts finally eased. Sorry, I'm late. This expedition into the demon realm was my oversight. The demonic power surrounding Xiao Yin started to wane. After a brief moment, he surveyed the devastation in the boundless fire domain, and an uncontrollable fury surged within him, accompanied by a sense of guilt. I apologize. I will ensure that nothing like today ever happens again. I, Xiao Yin, vow that these rascals will pay a heavy price. His booming voice gradually swept over the hearts of numerous survivors. Xiao Yin. In an instant, witnessing Xiao Yan's indomitable stance, the blood of countless powerhouses surged violently within them. They had chosen a wise leader. Xiao Yin understood that if the boundless fire domain fell, the Endless Flame Alliance would be decimated without any resistance, and the wavering forces within the Great Thousand Worlds would miss their chance to join, ultimately destroying any hope of saving their ancestors from the Xiao clan. This oversight almost led him to a point of no return. Domain Lord Xiao. Welcome back, everyone. At once, a multitude of powerful beings stepped aside, allowing Yun, flanked by the Heavenly Dragon and Earthly Phoenix, to emerge. It was clear that Yun's earlier selfless act had been safeguarded by countless warriors. I've guarded the boundless fire domain for you. Yun looked at Xiao Yan's approaching figure from afar. After saying this, her normally calm demeanor crumbled as she fainted, clearly having pushed herself to her limits. Fortunately, it was merely a consequence of depleted energy, and some rest would suffice. Phew. Thank you for your hard work. Xiao Yin gently wrapped his arms around Yun's delicate form, and at that moment, the god-slaying ruler and the imperial flame ring within him, which had remained dormant for so long, unexpectedly released waves of intense heat that connected with a stunning pattern on Yun's forehead. Xun'er, Kailin, remove the remaining evil aura clinging to the boundless fire domain and restore the headquarters. Additionally, I asked the elders of the Fire Sprite clan to make rounds in the various regions. Only the witchcraft powers of Her Excellency Yao Ji are currently unrestrained by the extraterritorial evil clan and the Great Thousand Worlds might. Once organized, we will commence our revenge. A series of commands poured from Xiao lips, suggesting that after this battle, the connections between the entire Boundless Fire Domain headquarters and the other 5 locations would grow even tighter. Unless a true peak 8th Reincarnation stage powerhouse or an even more terrifying being intervened, it would be impossible to deal a devastating blow to the Endless Flame Alliance. At the same time, the name of the Endless Flame Alliance would also catch the attention of the top powers in the Great Thousand Worlds, and some powerful beings with hostility toward the Xiao clan were quietly rising to the surface. In that abyss, it feels like something is calling out to me. Su Shuiying and the other guardians gathered together to alleviate their longing, yet Elder Wind was nowhere to be found. After a month of restructuring, the headquarters of the Boundless Fire Domain had become as solid as a fortress. Once Xiao Yan had arranged numerous strategies, he accompanied Su Shuiying to Tianqing Continent to deal with the Demon Abyss. It seemed that within this abyss, there was something intentionally left behind by the Demon Emperor, Magic Tuo's power. Fortunately, the people of Tianqing Continent are fine. They just fell into a deep sleep due to the illusionary attack of the 4th evil god. Standing together in the endless abyss, Xiao Yan and Su Shuiying gazed down into the unfathomable depths, a sense of confusion rising within them. There's a familiar fluctuation below. It seems to be emanating from the Nethernight demon fire. Could it be something left behind by Elder Xiao Yan? Su Shuiying nodded slightly, her gaze never leaving the abyss below. Let's go. As they spoke, they were enveloped in the endless flames of reincarnation, speeding rapidly towards the depths of the abyss. They descended at an incredible speed, but despite traveling vast distances, they still didn't see any sign of Magic Tuo. Holy flame! Clan mark! With a cold grunt, it was as though the night was illuminated by the dawn. The entire abyss revealed itself within their line of sight. At the bottom of the abyss was a deep chasm about 100 feet wide. At the very bottom, the figure of Magic Tuo slowly came into view. At this moment, Magic Tuo's body was shattered, lying like a dead dog with broken bones on the ground, his pupils filled with hatred and resentment. On his fragile, barely held-together body was a fiery red brand, slowly flickering beneath his forehead and skin, exuding an ancient aura. It seemed as though it could break through his skin and body at any moment, bursting out. Is this the aura of our Xiao clan? Xiao Yan looked at the scene, and his clan mark suddenly emitted a similarly fiery heat. So this guy's power is so terrifying. He actually devoured the clan mark of Elder Xiao Yan. After sensing it, Xiao Yan understood the situation, and was somewhat surprised by Magic Tuo's nature. It's not the clan mark, it's more like the reincarnation seal? The Nethernight demon fire roared and instantly surged out of Su Shuiying's body, slowly devouring Magic Tuo's form. For a moment, it seemed like a fiery red mysterious mark was emerging from within Magic Tuo's body. Xiao clan members, all of you must die. With a shrill cry, Magic Tuo, whose soul power was nearly dissipated, could only growl as someone approached. At this point, he was no different from a dying man. Although the Demon Emperor was injured by the power of the angels, with the peak strength of the 7th reincarnation stage combined with the power of the divine path, he nearly destroyed its body and soul in one strike. This was the true strength of the Demon Emperor. Elder Xiao Yan's reincarnation seal? Xiao Yan's eyes fixed on the palm-sized reincarnation seal in front of him, his gaze suddenly filled with passion. According to legend, Elder Xiao Yan's power had reached the 8th reincarnation stage countless cycles ago. If he could obtain this reincarnation seal, it would be extremely beneficial to him now. Don't say I'm stingy. Here, take this reincarnation seal. After all, it's from your Xiao clan. As if sensing the burning look in Xiao Yan's eyes, Su Shuiying carefully cupped the reincarnation seal in her fair palm and handed it to him. Just giving it to me so easily? Xiao Yan widened his eyes in surprise, looking at Su Shuiying. Her inner strength would likely help her reach the peak of the 6th reincarnation stage sooner or later, but it would take time. And after that, she might never break through again. If she kept the reincarnation seal, she could undoubtedly shatter that lock, and with the power of Nethernight demon fire, it would be a perfect match for her and Elder Xiao Yan's reincarnation seal. Then I won't be polite. I'll give the demon realm as much help as I can with elixirs and resources. Without further hesitation, Xiao took the fiery red reincarnation seal, sat cross-legged, and began to absorb it, channeling his inner power. However, Xiao did not notice that beside him, Su Shuiying revealed a faint, triumphant smile as she slowly began collecting the essence of Magic Tuo's fallen form, seeming to have some hidden agenda. A day passed in the blink of an eye. During this time, Xiao tried countless methods, but no matter what, he couldn't devour the reincarnation seal. Although the aura of Elder Xiao was indeed present on the seal, and the power inside was similar to his own bloodline and clan mark, every time Xiao tried to absorb and accept the reincarnation, an invisible repulsive force would suddenly throw him back. It was as though some strange power was preventing him from absorbing it. Xiao, feeling helpless, opened his eyes and stared closely at the reincarnation seal, trying to probe its secrets. Did I fail? Looking at Xiao expression, Su Shuiying seemed to have anticipated this outcome long ago. I don't want to take advantage of you. This is the source power of Demon Tuo. It's enough to help you break through to the quasi-7th reincarnation stage. Su Shuiying raised her palm, and a dark, ink-like energy orb appeared. Her captivating smile carried a triumphant air. Xiao furrowed his brows, feeling as though he had fallen into a trap someone had carefully set for him. If you want it, then trade the reincarnation seal. Su Shuiying sneered. You know I can't absorb it? Xiao handed over the reincarnation seal, his face filled with confusion. Since he couldn't absorb it, the best candidate to accept the reincarnation seal seemed to be Su Shuiying. The prophecy of Bamboo's spirit hermit seems to suggest you cannot absorb any strong being's reincarnation. Your identity is quite strange. Even he couldn't predict or understand it. He only knows that you are the greatest variable in the great thousand worlds. Su Shuiying gripped the reincarnation seal. The brilliant nitron demon fire burst forth with an overwhelming force, as if it had found its long-lost master, joyously surging into the reincarnation seal. For a moment, two magnificent and terrifying presences slowly broke through, strengthening the atmosphere of this abyss. 1 month later, quasi-7th reincarnation stage. It seems the Grand Elder had already foreseen the Xiao clan's disaster, deliberately leaving behind his reincarnation power to suppress Demon Tuo, waiting for a descendant to take it. But unexpectedly, Demon Tuo seized a fragment of that power, causing such a catastrophe. In the hall, Xiao and the 4 women gathered together, discussing the current situation of the Boundless Fire Domain and its future developments. Su Shuiying has accepted the Grand Elder's reincarnation seal. Her future strength is likely to reach a completely new level. Moreover, in the demon realm, she will likely lead, as many demonic artifacts are already controlled by powerful figures in their respective realms. The demon realm's power cannot be underestimated. Kailin nodded lightly. She still had a strong impression of Su Shuiying. The sword strike from the demon realm. Its aura and bravery were enough to earn respect. The 4th evil god's forces have slain all the half-demonic experts stationed to seal other locations, but unfortunately, we couldn't extract any useful information from them. Mu Yingying had just exited seclusion. Although she had missed the earlier disaster, she still made significant contributions. The Palace of the Great Thousand seems to be gathering forces. There are signs of great movements, and many factions in the Great Thousand Worlds are also beginning to stir. A storm is likely coming. Xun'er nodded silently. Xiao Yin, Elder Feng has returned. She urgently needs to see you. Not long after, Su Shuiying lightly knocked on the door, seemingly with some pressing matter. Let's go. Xiao and the 4 women exchanged looks and immediately followed Su Shuiying out of the room. This guy, always like this. Xun'er smiled at Xiao hurried movements. Once this world is settled, perhaps we can find a secluded place to retreat to. Sounds good. We'll listen to Yun. The 4 women chatted, discussing matters of a more feminine nature. Elder Feng, why the anxious look? When they entered a private room and saw Elder Feng, before she could speak, something unusual happened. Poof! Elder Feng uncontrollably spat out a mouthful of blood, as if undergoing extreme torment. Xiao Domain Lord, I've traveled across the great thousand worlds, reaching out to many factions. They are willing to support us in rescuing the Xiao clan. However, as she spoke, Elder Feng's eyes revealed no joy but an ominous sense of worry. In the past, during the glory days of the Xiao clan, allies were everywhere in the great thousand worlds. But now, after countless reincarnations, the landscape has changed drastically. Elder Feng was badly injured, but still watched Xiao Yan's expression closely, as though there was something unspeakable. Elder Feng, just tell me directly. I can handle it. Xiao Yan understood that there were likely many hidden complexities. He steadied himself, knowing the situation was more complicated than he imagined. Those powerful factions in the Great Thousand Worlds, aside from the few that have clearly expressed support, many others have their reservations. After all, this world is now almost entirely controlled by the center of the human realm and the angel kingdom. Any changes in the Great Thousand Worlds will not escape their notice. Without over 50% certainty, they won't dare make such a gamble. Because if they choose the wrong side, the consequences will be irreversible. Mentioning the center of the human realm, Elder Feng's expression darkened, even taking on a tinge of blackness. They are waiting for you in some quiet area, seemingly with doubts and concerns. Elder Feng continued, take me there. Stay vigilant. Their doubts are inevitable, but the glory of the Xiao clan will be rebuilt by us. Also, send strong forces to attack the Mystic Region, Wind and Thunder Hall, Heavenly Mystery Alliance, and other places. Those factions that once took advantage of our Boundless Fire Domain will no longer have a good ending. The Boundless Fire Domain never seeks trouble, but we never fear it. In an instant, the powerful figures from the Boundless Fire Domain sprang into action, targeting several forces for a joint attack. As for Xiao Yan, he followed Elder Wind discreetly, heading toward the place where urgent matters were to be discussed. That place was where representatives of the peak forces of the Great Thousand Worlds would gather, forces strong enough to threaten the very foundation of the world. In the Great Thousand Worlds, within the human realm, there lay a deserted and desolate city in the middle of an uninhabited desert. The deep brown desert winds howled, carrying a sense of hopelessness. The air was dry and scorching, representing the harsh nature of the land. This was a place on the very edge of the human realm, near a rift leading to the extraterritorial evil clan's realm. It was so remote that there was little to no intelligence gathering by any major forces here. Amid the desert stood a small city, built entirely from sand and stone. The surrounding area was nothing but a barren wasteland, and in the skies above, fierce magical beasts, giant hawks, patrolled, giving the city an eerie, forgotten aura. So desolate? Xiao Yan, draped in his black robe, looked at the city in the desert with a puzzled expression. How could the representatives of the peak forces of the Great Thousand Worlds choose such a barren location for a meeting? Were they fearful of certain forces, or were they being watched by other transcendent powers, forced to resort to such an obscure location for their own safety? In the Great Thousand Worlds, there are spies from the human realm center everywhere. To prevent this meeting from being exposed and causing unnecessary trouble, we had no choice but to meet in such a remote place, Elder Wind said, shaking her head. I hope the Domain Lord can understand. These matters were beyond her control. It was a joint decision made by the others. If such a secret meeting were discovered by the Human Realm Center, it would lead to a devastating blow to these superpowers. Such a painful cost was not something they could bear. Xiao Yan shook his head. Such sneaky and secretive actions were, no doubt, as dark as a rat running through the streets. But without the power to oppose the human realm's overwhelming dominance, there was no better alternative. Power, after all, is the best pass in this world. Elder Wind, please lead the way, Xiao Yan said, knowing the gravity of the situation. He then slightly shook his head. The brown hurricane began to swirl as Xiao Yan and Elder Wind stepped into it, heading toward their destination. Upon entering the city, which was nearly devoid of life, they arrived at a quiet pavilion where several figures were already waiting. As soon as Xiao Yan and Elder Wind stepped into the city, those waiting in the pavilion opened their eyes, as if they had been anticipating the arrival of the guests. Soon enough, the group gathered smoothly. Xiao Yan looked up and counted. There were 7 people in total, each with a different expression. However, all their eyes were focused on him. Although they had only reached the Doxian level, they represented massive forces behind them. Clearly, the pressure from the human realm center was so immense that these superpowers dared not show their true faces and had to resort to such desperate measures. Everyone, this is Xiao, the domain lord of the Xiao clan. If you have any concerns about the forces behind you, feel free to discuss them here, Elder Wind said, speaking first and setting up an airtight energy barrier around them. Domain Lord Xiao, this matter is of great confidentiality. Please present your clan mark, one of the 7 said with a cautious tone. They had all been assigned this task and understood the risks involved. Indeed, it's the Xiao clan mark, Xiao said, slowly activating his Xiao clan bloodline, displaying the clan mark. We are the envoys of the major forces behind us. If we offend you in any way, Domain Lord Xiao, please show mercy, one of them added. As soon as these words were spoken, the atmosphere in the pavilion became tense. I, from the Devouring Spirit clan, have always regarded the Xiao clan as our leader. If Domain Lord Xiao has any requests, feel free to speak, one of the 7 said, showing his strong support. The dissenting voices in our clan have already been completely suppressed by the clan leader. The Devouring Spirit clan and the Xiao clan had a close relationship, one that had lasted throughout the ages. Even after all these years, they had continuously searched for the Xiao clan's whereabouts. Xiao nodded, his favor toward the Devouring Spirit clan growing. Each of the 7 forces was a major player in the Great Thousand Worlds, their ancestors or supreme powers, existing at the 7th or 8th reincarnation stage. With their support, coupled with the foundation of the Endless Flame Alliance, Xiao now had the qualifications to enter the Netherworld and begin the Xiao clan's revival plan. This was the very reason why Xiao had agreed to attend the meeting. We don't have the boldness of the Devouring Spirit clan, one of them said with a bitter smile. With the human realm center and the palace of the Great Thousand still uncertain, and with many of those who once destroyed the Xiao clan still lurking in the shadows, if we were to join the Endless Flame Alliance now, we would become a thorn in the side of many powerful forces. Our legacy, accumulated over countless generations, could be wiped out in an instant. I hope Domain Lord Xiao can understand. A woman spoke up softly from the group. I understand. You may speak freely about your concerns, Xiao said, his voice calm. Xiao was not in a hurry, because he knew that the actions of the center of the human realm were too domineering and had already caused dissatisfaction among countless forces. What he needed to do now was simply to take the lead. The matter at hand is to rescue the powerful beings such as Princess Chang'e and Princess Yaoji, who are imprisoned and sealed in the demon-suppressing domain. Once these important figures appear and declare their allegiance to the Endless Flame Alliance, we will naturally follow. By then, even the center of the human realm and those hidden powers will have to think twice before acting against us. After discussing for a long time, they only came up with some vague verbal promises. After all, aligning with a force of this magnitude was no small matter. I understand your intentions, Xiao said. Please tell them that we will indeed take action on these matters, but I hope that when the time comes, they don't forget their original intentions. Let them wait for good news. Xiao shrugged slightly, clearly indicating that the participation of these forces wouldn't be without its leaders. And now, with the situation unclear, he wouldn't be foolish enough to reveal the resting places of the Xiao clan's strong warriors. Since that's the case, we shall await Lord Zhao's good news, one of them said. The group exchanged glances, clearly pleased with the discussion. They never expected Xiao to be so easygoing. Wait a moment. Lord Xiao, I have a request. Just as they were preparing to leave after the discussion, a person who had remained silent in the crowd suddenly stood up. His deep eyes seemed to carry a surge of dark chaos. What is it? Xiao internal powers began to churn, sensing a terrifying aura from this person, who was only at the Doxian level. I wish to invite Lord Xiao to a certain place. It's called Hell. Boom. Before the man could finish his sentence, his body exploded, spilling black blood that completely isolated the entire city. Soon, the entire wooden house began to sink, seemingly heading towards some eerie location. What have you done? We were only responsible for passing on the message. Are you trying to kill us? Fear began to fill the hearts of the other 6. They never imagined there would be a traitor among the 7 representatives. How laughable. Do you think that by eradicating the Xiao clan's warriors and forces, you can eliminate only one person? If you had abandoned this matter earlier, with the protection of Thunder Lord and Golden Dragon King, your identity as a descendant of the Xiao clan would have remained untouchable. But since you insist on pursuing this, even these 2 great powers cannot protect you. Go down. There are others below who will judge you. This world is far more complicated than you think. The figure that had turned into blood left behind a strange voice that seemed to echo in the minds of everyone present. Having received orders from those great powers, from now on, the descendants of the Xiao clan would vanish completely. Boom, boom, boom. Blood-red bubbles, the size of heads, emerged from the surrounding void, reflecting countless scenes of eerie resentment. Of the 7, except for the strangely vanishing man, the other 6 scrambled for their lives. The soul torture they were enduring was something no one at the Do Xian level could withstand. Lord Xiao, if possible, please visit the Devouring Spirit clan. The clan leader has urgent matters to discuss with you. The representative of the Devouring Spirit clan finished speaking, and the other 6 perished, their bodies and souls completely destroyed. Reviving the Xiao clan is indeed difficult, but this is the path I must walk. It is my duty as a descendant of the Xiao clan. I will bear every responsibility, no less. One day, we will make you pay a heavy price. Isn't it just hell? This isn't my first time there. As he felt the irresistible powers around him, Xiao Yin sneered. The forbidden palace in his hand, obtained from the Xiao clan's female warrior Xiao Lingshan, began to form, releasing terrifying power to protect Xiao Yan's body. He felt like the true lord of all evils, slowly descending into hell. Since those hidden forces wanted to annihilate him, it meant their investigation was correct. Even their investigation had revealed that his strength had already become a hidden threat to them. They wanted to eliminate Xiao Yin quickly to prevent future trouble. But how could Xiao Yin, who controlled many secret weapons, let them have their way? Since they were so eager to destroy him, Xiao Yin would use his true power to crush their plans completely. Darkness, like a tidal wave of energy, slowly submerged Xiao Yan's body, mind, and soul, pulling him towards an unknown realm. No one knew where this place was, and no sound responded to Xiao Yan's calls. The surrounding space was filled with heavenly restraints, seemingly suppressing most of their powers. It seemed that one of the 7 had already been controlled during the discussion. Everything they talked about had already fallen into the ears of the powerful beings hiding in the shadows. The mastermind's purpose, naturally, was to eliminate him. Xiao Yin didn't need to think twice to know that the person behind this hellish journey was definitely one of the powerful beings who had once hunted down the Xiao clan. Fine. He would use his own strength to make these people recall the terrifying might of the Xiao clan. No one who had been behind the extermination of the Xiao clan would escape. The powers within Xiao Yan's body are quite strange. You better be careful. In the desert, 2 figures concealed in the void emerged, gazing at the endless abyss that had collapsed at the center of the desert. They began to speak slowly. Rest assured, even if he's a descendant, no matter how exceptional his talent, he can never compare to me. After all, I am the Son of Heaven. One of the figures responded with disdain, as though all of this was already under his control. The half-god technique can be used at will. The Hell Realm is nothing. If it's destroyed, then it's destroyed. If you can kill Xiao Yin, the Realm Lord will surely reward you handsomely. And there are plenty of others in the Hell Realm who will help you. Yes. A voice filled with wild joy echoed out. If you fail, you know the consequences. A moment later, the figure vanished with the wind, and a profound sense of pressure from heaven and earth filled the air, the warning unmistakable. I understand. The voice, alone in the desert, was drenched in cold sweat, soaking his clothes. This time, no matter what, success was the only option. Failure was not an option. As for the identities of these powerful beings, they didn't seem to belong to the center of the human realm, but their backing powers were at least ranked among the peak forces in the Great Thousand Worlds. The entire city began to collapse, as if some evil pact was slowly pulling the city toward hell. In an instant, Elder Wind, who was the only one left beside him, started to bleed profusely from his forehead, as if his soul had been torn from his body. His face turned ashen, and his body grew weaker, as if all life was rapidly disappearing. Elder Wind, I'll send you back. These people came for me. But Domain Lord, the Boundless Fire Domain can't do without you. Don't worry, I won't die. It's just that I need to visit the Hell Realm. After saying that, Xiao Yan's body shone with the sacred flame's radiance as he sent Elder Wind away. From the abyss, not only did Xiao Yan's forces break through to the quasi-7th reincarnation stage, but it seemed that Xiao Lingshan's fate was somehow tied to the Hell Realm. He also learned the location of the Flame God's cauldron, but he hadn't had the time to retrieve it before encountering this situation. The original 7 individuals represented some of the pinnacle forces in the Great Thousand Worlds, such as the Devouring Spirit Clan, Sword Domain, Sacred Valley of Medicinal Herbs, and the Kunlun Immortal Land. However, the concerns of the forces behind them had already reached Xiao Yan's ears. Their lives no longer mattered. Darkness, like an endless river, continuously increased the pressure, slowly pulling Xiao Yan's body into it. This immense and grand power was overwhelming. Xiao Yan found himself unable to resist it. It seemed to strip him of his ability to use and control his power, leaving him at the mercy of the darkness, floating with the tide. Yet Xiao Yan didn't show any signs of resistance because he wanted to see just who was so eager to eliminate him. The Angel Kingdom would never resort to such tricks. The center of the human realm should be preoccupied with the extraterritorial evil clan and unable to deal with him for the time being. So who was it? As he fell for what seemed like an eternity, Xiao Yan vaguely sensed that the concept of time was becoming blurred. The breath of darkness washed over everything in this void, as if telling some mysterious tale. Endless falling, as if there were no end in sight. A torment originating from the soul and spirit gradually surfaced, stirring Xiao Yan's calm emotions, turning them into rage and viciousness, as if he were a wild beast on the verge of completely losing control. However, no matter how the dark tide encroached, Xiao Yan remained unfazed. With the power of a demon, Xiao Yan had long since become immune to this kind of torment. Thus, he continued to fall slowly toward the so-called hell. The Netherworld, the 18 layers of hell, the Lord of the Netherworld, Yama, and other supreme beings. The Hell Realm was also a place full of danger. Before long, a dark black gate appeared at the bottom of the falling abyss, catching Xiao Yan's attention. The gate radiated a sinister energy that didn't belong to this world. It seemed to be a force unique to the Hell Realm. So, this is hell? Xiao Yan sneered, and a vast power surged from his body. With a single step, he entered the gate. Beyond the Hell Gate, what met his eyes were eerie and bizarre scenes. It seemed that what he had entered was not hell, but rather a strange world where multiple spaces overlapped. At the end of this world, there stood a massive, pitch-black door, quietly and firmly rooted in place. The entire space was vast beyond imagination, shattered and incomplete. Countless black auras floated aimlessly, and among them, a particularly powerful presence seemed to be waiting for his arrival. This place, Xiao Yan stepped in, his eyes constantly alert to his surroundings. Welcome to the Hell's Ghost Gate. Enter the Ghost Gate. I am one of the gatekeepers, Da Yuan. A nearly formless, eerie and foul mist slowly poured out from between heaven and earth, and with it, a chilling voice emerged. This guy seemed to be specifically waiting for Xiao Yan. Ghost Gate? Xiao Yan stayed in place, vigilantly watching the voice within the mist. The Hell Realm was his first encounter. Though the strength of its inhabitants couldn't match that of the Monster Realm, the involvement of some shadowy figures had turned everything here strange. The gap in power seemed impossible to judge by normal logic. This is one of the 3 death gates of the Hell Realm. If you succeed in passing through, you'll meet the person you wish to see. Of course, if you fail, you'll remain here forever, trapped for all eternity, never to be reborn. The tone of the man in front of him, seemed to exude a sinister aura, intentionally waiting for Xiao Yin. As for the person Xiao Yin would meet, it was likely one of the masterminds behind the plot, one of the powerful figures who had participated in the extermination of the Xiao clan. The one who set up these trials seemed to be testing Xiao Yin, gauging his strength. If he couldn't even handle these guys, then there would be no need for a confrontation with the true mastermind. This guy's strength, only at the 6th reincarnation stage? Xiao Yan's soul perception instantly expanded, and in an instant, he understood the exact strength of the figure within the mist. Upon realizing this, Xiao Yin even double-checked a few times. Strength? How much of it is real and how much is illusion? What my eyes see? How much of it is true and how much is false? The figure within the mist began murmuring. It seemed that every word he spoke brought forth immense power that shook Xiao Yin. Since that's the case, then let's fight. Xiao Yin knew that everything here was being manipulated behind the scenes. They were trying to drag him into hell and bury him there. But how could he let them have their way? He was the sacred flame controller, the holder of the god-slaying ruler, and the sole inheritor of the demon's legacy. With all these identities combined, they had shaped Xiao Yan's formidable strength. With countless powers at his disposal, even a true 8-fold reincarnation stage powerhouse could never defeat him. The sacred flame radiance surrounded Xiao Yin like a crown of light. Countless blazing flames transformed into a raging sea of fire, engulfing the entire space in an instant. His battle intent was awe-inspiring, and his momentum was overwhelming, leaving everyone in shock. The mist in front of him churned and transformed into a slightly gaunt human figure, whose serious gaze was fixed on Xiao Yin. His face was twisted into a nearly manic grin. He was sent by a mysterious force to erase Xiao Yin today. Even Xiao Yin himself was unaware that the destruction of the Xiao clan had already become an inevitable event. After all, during the Heaven and Earth War, the strength exhibited by the Xiao clan's warriors had surpassed that of countless forces in the entire Great Thousand Worlds. Though the Xiao clan had remained neutral in the aftermath of the war, avoiding interference in the affairs of the world, many top forces secretly joined together to exterminate them. The truth was that the strength of the Xiao clan's 9-fold reincarnation stage and even quasi-god level experts was terrifying. So much so that even the Angel Kingdom could not challenge them. Such immense power threatened the dominance of the peak forces in the Great Thousand Worlds. After much deliberation, those high-ranking peak experts decided to unite in secret to strike at the Xiao clan, which was still weakened after the war, and launch a deadly ambush. In one night, the Xiao clan, which had made great contributions during the First Heaven and Earth War, disappeared without a trace, as if it had evaporated overnight. There were many rumors surrounding this, but no one could uncover the true nature of the conspiracy. If the Xiao clan had stepped forward at that time, using their 9-fold reincarnation stage experts and quasi-god level strength to unite the entire Great Thousand Worlds, this catastrophe would never have occurred. Unfortunately, the Xiao clan chose to remain silent, wishing to allow the world to continue its own development. This quiet approach ultimately sealed their fate. In an instant, the entire dim world was filled with the searing flames of the sacred flame. Behind the gaunt man, evil shadows began to swirl. In an instant, he pulled out a massive silver blade, which carried the dazzling aura of thunder. He swung it high above his head, and the silver thunder power directly cleaved down, sending terrifying lightning arcs flooding across the entire world. With a sudden roar, countless bolts of thunder seemed to have found their target, as if a massive crack had appeared in an otherwise perfect sky, with an endless stream of lightning crashing down toward Xiao Yin. Hundreds and thousands of bolts of thunder, terrifying enough to flatten dozens of mountain ranges, struck Xiao Yan's body without causing the slightest ripple. The power of Dragon God transformation, coupled with the supreme lightning tempering from the Thunder Lord, granted Xiao Yin immunity to most of the Thunder's power. Thunder is not meant to be used this way. A heavy, ancient thunder scripture floated in front of Xiao Yan's chest. With a flick of his hand, he turned a page, and a deep gray lightning radiance surged from his eyes. The once vast and violent silver lightning, which had been ferocious enough to destroy everything just a moment ago, suddenly vanished after Xiao Yan's gray lightning flickered. The entire world seemed empty, with no energy fluctuations remaining, as if some powerful and ancient aura had wiped it clean. The silver giant blade fell to the ground in an instant, and the emaciated figure before him froze completely. She was a powerhouse who had mastered the thunder attribute to perfection, standing at the 6th reincarnation stage, capable of controlling several forms of powerful thunder. Yet, before Xiao Yan, she was utterly powerless. Staring at Xiao Yan, who now appeared as a true death god, the emaciated figure smiled. It seemed that at this moment, she finally understood why the leader had hesitated when planning this ambush. From the moment you chose to stand against me, your fate was sealed. With a light sound, Xiao Yan easily resolved her, and the powers of devouring and demonic force emerged, completely absorbing her strength. Yet, in her final moments, as her body and soul perished, a faintly sinister smile lingered on her lips.